I have been trying to avoid talking about this forever because I feel like the moment you talk about it, you kind of become this flag bearer plus size influencer, which I really don't want to be. Okay. Am I ready to do this? Why not? Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Janani. I am your Indian big sister, and I'm here to talk about how to be confident in an Indian society. I just want to empower you and help you get stronger to navigate what is arguably a very interesting society to live in. I'm a 30-year-old Indian woman who is unmarried, single, no kids, and lives in a curvy body. So I know a thing or two about living in the Indian society. I am also a musician and an entrepreneur, but we're figuring things out because as of right now, I'm in the stage of my life where I have no idea what the fuck is going on. Seriously, but something that I've always been passionate about is making people feel better about themselves. And so that's why I wanted to start this YouTube channel. All of the things that I've learned, all of the perspectives that I've gained over my life, dating in my 20s and now in my 30s, I've learned a thing or two about existing in the Indian society. And I'm specifically talking about the Indian society because general self-empowerment rules don't apply to our culturally nuanced existence that is living in India. Now, I am a very liberal woman, and I am very fortunate to have liberal parents who are still Indian parents, so don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of opinions I have about the way that women exist today in the Indian society. And I just want to help empower women to live authentically and be the best version of themselves because I'm just so done letting the misogyny win. So of course, I have to start off with the obvious one, and that's being a plus size girl in the Indian society. I have been trying to avoid talking about this forever because I feel like the moment you talk about it, you kind of become this flag bearer plus size influencer, which I really don't want to be because I think that it's pigeonholing someone. It's ableist. I don't think it's a monolithic experience to be plus size. I do think that there are certain experiences that you have as someone who lives in a bigger body, especially in the Indian context, that can be particularly disempowering. So my job is to change that. I want to change that. And I want to do this because I wish when I was 13 and hormonal and figuring out my life and being neurodivergent, I wish someone was there to tell me all of the things that I hope will help you, that I'm going to tell you on this channel. So today I want to talk about calling fat people brave. Let me give you some context. So I grew up with an almond mom, and what that is a mother who just really does not like eating, essentially. And that was really difficult because when you have an almond mom who struggles with her own body image issues, and again, I love my mom, but I know the generational trauma that's been passed down to her, living in an Indian society that keeps perpetrating that sort of narrative, I get it. I don't blame her now, but it was a strained experience to go through being the fat daughter of a dancer mom. I love my mother, but we had to figure out our relationship, and it definitely wasn't easy when I was a teenager navigating that. But that's a whole different conversation because that's just going to take a whole video. But I want to talk about how it was when I was younger and how that narrative has continued on to my 30s. So when I was 13, the largest size of jeans that you would get at any mall or store was 32. And I'm pretty sure when I was younger, I was either a 36, maybe. 32 was the largest size, and in denim, 32 is not forgiving. Looking back now, I think all my life I felt fat, but I've definitely been different stages of different sizes in my body. And that always fucks me up, is how I was different sizes, but I always felt fat. And it's because I was part of a system that would constantly reinforce that narrative of someone who is big. And now in my 30s, having broken out of it, I kind of just realized that this is a systemic fat shaming problem and not a me problem. I thought I would address some common things we hear as a bigger person in an Indian society and talk about them and break them down, kind of help you deal with it and give you tools to understand how to navigate it. Because I think it starts with changing your perspective on it and standing up for yourself. So I want to address these two things in today's video. So we're going to talk about the common things that you hear as a fat person living in India. Let's address the first thing that anyone ever tells you when they fat shame you. And yes, it's fat shaming. Now, when I say fat shaming, I want to break this down a little bit for a second. When I say fat shaming, I mean someone who makes you feel less than about being in a bigger size. Even if they're not intending to make you feel less than, which I think they are, it can be something along the lines of, I think you should lose weight because I'm concerned about your health. Now, this is something that I hear till today. This is something that I hear all the freaking time. People want me to lose weight because of health reasons. Usually, they have no fucking idea about my health. They're just making an assumption that I'm unhealthy because of the way that my body looks. Now, I can also understand if it is about health, because I did a lot of work on my own mental health and thinking about this whole thing. And I get it that people think that it is correlated to health. And to an extent it is. But I do think that to blanket statement health and tell someone that they need to lose weight is not fair, and it is fat shaming. And this is a very difficult and nuanced perspective on it, because I know a lot of people would disagree with me, including people who are in heavier bodies, because we've just been indoctrined into this culture of health. Whenever they talk about health, they never have a goal. So if someone wants me to lose weight for my health, they don't have an ideal weight or an ideal way that I'm supposed to look. It just implies don't look fat, which is the reason why I think it's fat phobic. Knowing that was a huge step for me, because once I knew that, then I was able to really work around what I wanted from my health and from my body. And I'm someone who works out every day. It took me a long time to develop a healthy relationship with working out. And a lot of that had to come by separating what the heck other people expected from me versus what I expected from myself. And that's going to take a long time. But it started with not shaming myself. And I think that's an important thing in the Indian society, and empowering yourself in an Indian society is to unlearn shame. I think unlearning shame has been a huge, huge challenge. Till today, it remains a very big challenge for me, because I just think that in our culture, in a lot of ways, we think shame is equal to scaring someone into doing something. And I don't think that works. I don't like to work that way. I don't necessarily think the goal is to make you feel good about yourself. I think the goal is to shame you into losing weight. And I never think that's a good thing. I don't think you can shame yourself into losing weight. I think you can love yourself into becoming a better version of yourself. And unlearning that shame, I think, is a huge step in knowing that your health has nothing to do with how you look, and your health has many other aspects to it than just how you physically look. So constantly reminding yourself of that is a big step in understanding how to accept when someone says that they want you to lose weight because of your health. Second one that I really want to address today is being called brave and or confident. I have never ever felt like I think the most backhanded compliment that someone can ever give someone is telling them how confident they are. When you tell someone that they're confident, especially when they're in a bigger body, you're basically implying that they had no reason to be. That they're not inherently worth being confident. That confidence is something that you need to earn by subscribing to the standards of the society. And that typically includes being fair-skinned, skinny, and privileged, and fair, did I say that? Straight hair, Eurocentric, essentially. So that meant that you need to match Eurocentric standards to have confidence. And if you don't even match it a slight bit, and you love yourself and you're happy with who you are, then wow, you are brave. You are so confident. You are so brave. Are you kidding? Like, for real? I don't know why people think confidence needs to be earned. I think confidence is just feeling good about yourself. Yes, takes time. takes a lot of unlearning. But whenever someone says that it's so brave or you're so confident, what's so brave and confident about existing as my authentic self or loving my body for exactly what it is right now? I don't get it. I really don't get it. I remember going out with a friend once, and she wasn't really a good friend. She actually isn't a friend at all. But I remember going to a bar, and we were like new friends at this time. And I don't know if she was drunk. I don't think she was that drunk. And I also don't think that if you're drunk, this is okay to say. But she essentially told me, so she looked at me and she said, "Oh my God, you're so brave. I admire your confidence, because if I look like you, if I got up in the morning and looked like you, I would kill myself." I wish I was kidding. I wish this didn't happen, but this happened. So, yeah, I didn't know what to say. I mean, I'm a recovering people pleaser, so I just kind of laughed, and I was very confused and also kind of drunk. So I'm like, did she just tell me that she looked like me? She would kill herself? Who? What? I don't even know what to think of it. Like, am I that ugly that I'm like Quasimodo? And I don't even think Quasimodo should kill himself. I do know that a lot of people use brave and confidence interchangeably. I think it's a way to pull someone down, because if you're just brave and confident, that has nothing to do with the way that your body looks. Like, you're just confident in who you are. And I understand maybe the people who don't have a malicious intent and have no idea that what they're saying is being interpreted in a condescending way. I get it. But like, it's pretty fucking condescending to tell someone, "Oh my God, you're so confident. You're so brave. If I look like you, Hunchback of Notre Dame, I would kill myself." Didn't he kill himself? Did Esmeralda kill herself? It's been a while since I read that book. Another huge thing that people say is, "You're lazy," which is just so fucking rude. It's so rude to tell someone that they're lazy because they're fat, and that because they're in a bigger body, that they must be lazy, because why else would someone choose to be in such a big body? There's so many layers to this. I don't even know where to start. Implying that someone's lazy because of an aesthetic preference is so problematic, because it's fucking, I don't even know if it's like, it's kind of like racism, but it's not racist. Like, it's stereotypical. Or what is it? It's bigoted? I don't know what the word is, because it's fat phobic to assume that someone, because of the way that they look, that they inherently have a character flaw. And that is so problematic, because again, it's another way to make someone feel less about themselves and make someone feel like they're not good enough. And that is, in essence, disempowering. Lazy is one of them. There's angry. There's someone who's gonna Hulk out, that I get angry. They're afraid of my strength. So, which is so confusing, because if I'm lazy and physically unfit, I also have strength. Make it make sense. Essentially, what all this boils down to is pure, unadulterated insecurity. People who are in a bigger body become especially vulnerable to people who are insecure and want to project that insecurity onto someone and make themselves feel good about themselves. And that is a problem. We've been conditioned to think that you're less than if you're bigger. You're less than if you're in a bigger body. For whatever reason, you're just not good enough. And I don't think that's fucking true. I think that it has absolutely nothing to do with how you physically look. Aesthetics and optics are a different conversation, and I know that they matter in the world that we live in, but beware of the people that are being condescending towards you just to make themselves feel good about themselves. And honestly, that could even be your own parents. That can 100% be your own family members. And it took me a while to understand how to place it, which is why I'm so passionate about empowering women in this Indian society, because it took a lot of work for me to identify it, to label it, and to call it out, to accept that it was happening, and then finally get on my healing journey. Living in a bigger body is just one part of who I am. There's a lot more that I want to talk about, especially empowering women in an Indian society. So if you want to get on your empowerment journey and help yourself show up as the most authentic person in the in Indian society, click that subscribe button because I'm going to be coming out with more videos for women living in an Indian society. And I just am so passionate about this. So I would love for you to tell me what you want me to talk about, and what experiences you've had being a bigger girl in an Indian world. If you want to start your empowerment journey, click that subscribe button because I want to talk about everything and anything that I can do to help you feel a little empowered in this Indian society, and talk about everything that we're navigating as women. Change society one woman at a time. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you guys in my next video. Until then, goodbye.